I'd do a quick review of the stump bucket that I have. And I'm still getting used to using it. I've had it for, oh gosh, 4 or 5 months now, and I've used it a few times, but not to say that I am a professional at using this thing. So, but what I'll go over first is the dimensions of it and the things I do like about it, and there are a couple things that I don't. So let's go ahead and start that. Wait for the airplane to go over. All right, welcome back to Silent Hill Acres. Today I want to go over the stump bucket that I have, and I will say that for the uses that I've done with it since I've gotten it, it works pretty good. I think it's probably more user error than anything else. I'm still getting used to it. I've taken out, quite a few stumps, but again, it's still a learning experience. It's nothing that, I've definitely fully achieved with using this. So I would say that, if you're in the market to get a stump bucket, try to make sure that you get one that's going to be rated for your tractor, because you don't want something that is too big, because this is just like a standard duty stump bucket, and they do make a heavy duty one, and I would say those are more geared towards your like 4 series type of tractors and like a skid steer. And the problem is that, one, they're a lot heavier. So this arms for this tractor here, they're rated to lift roughly about 1,900 pounds. So I know that when I had my John Deere 1025R, I think it was rated for, I think it was less than 800 pounds, something like that. So this definitely could have done the job. It just would have taken a lot longer to do it, because you just can't put as much force, because the biggest thing is you don't want to bend your loader arms here. So you could bend them out of, and so that's something that would be, very expensive to replace or fix. But what I'm going to get into is the specs on this stump bucket here. Of course, this is like a skid steer quick attach style. The width of it here is 45 3/4 of an inch. The steel is 1/2 inch steel, so it's got a pretty good gauge to it. The length, now I'm not counting the front teeth here, just the bucket itself. The bucket itself is roughly about 36 inches. So you got a pretty good depth of your bucket here. And then, of course, it's a graduated depth, but your deepest point is 18 inches. And then the width of your bucket, again, it's going to gradually get bigger as you get towards the back, but the top of it is almost 21 inches. And then the opening down here is 15 inches. So you can get, quite a bit of dirt, in that scoop. It does come with 3 teeth on the front here. And what's nice with these is that these are removable. So if for some odd reason you snap one off or bend it or whatever, you can buy replacements for these. Now, this didn't come with any type of instruction manual or anything like that when I bought it, because when I bought this stump bucket, I got it as a big package deal from a place up in Lexington, North Carolina. So when I went there, I bought the stump bucket, my pallet forks, which are underneath that tarp right behind me, and my grapple. So I was able to, get a really good bargain deal. But this didn't come from, your typical Tractor Supply kind of store or anything like that. They specialize in just making these, the pallet forks and that, and the grapple, and they also do trailers and stuff like that. So the biggest or the easiest way that I found them was I just went on Facebook Marketplace, and at first I was looking for used stuff, but I saw that this place carried all these 3 items that I really wanted for the tractor, and by getting a hold of them and saying, hey, if I buy 3 items at once, what kind of deal can you give me? And so they were able to come up with a really good deal for me. So I was able to buy all 3 items at once. So if that's something that you might be interested in, with buying attachments for your tractor, sometimes if you bundle stuff together, you can get even a better deal at times. So that's a suggestion that I would have. But getting back to the stump bucket here, so far I haven't found many things I don't like about it. The welds seem like they're very, very good. They seem very strong. I've put it through the test pretty good. It has what, kind of like these serrated teeth, on each side. And that's basically for when you go to get a stump. Well, you don't start right out at taking the stump out. You have to work your way from the out in. And by doing that, what you're doing is all those roots that extend out from the main stump itself, that's what you need to get broken up first. So a lot of times what this is good for is you'll get your bucket, kind of go underneath those roots, lift up a little bit, and as you're coming back, these will hopefully rip that root apart, so it'll detach from the stump itself. Because again, especially if you have a really good tap root that goes off at an angle, if you don't get that tap root separated from the stump itself, or you don't touch it at all, you're going to be there forever trying to get that stump out, because that tap root actually is going to hold that stump in there. So I've found that if I use these serrated teeth on the sides and get underneath that tap root, lift up a little bit and pull back, usually it'll rip that tap root apart. It might take you a few times to do it. Depends on, of course, how big the tap root is and all that. So just take your time. That's the key thing that I've learned with using a stump bucket, is it's not a fast process. It's not like using an excavator where, you can really grab hold of stuff and dig stuff up, and where with this, they call it a poor man's excavator. So you want to take your time. And things that I've learned by using this is, at first when you go in, just take shallow cuts. Don't try to go in and turn the bucket up and just try to lift it right out, because that's when the possibility you might bend one of your arms here, and you don't want to do that. So lessons that I've learned over the times that I've used it is just go in shallow, just start taking stuff out little by little, and seems like it would take longer, but actually it makes it go by faster. Because if you're trying to just dig in, and it just takes a lot more effort, and it seems to take twice as long. So that's something that I've learned by using the stump bucket, is just take shallow passes and don't try to get it all out at once. A thing that sometimes I even try at first is, wherever the stump is at, if there's enough of it sticking out of the ground, I'll just tap that stump and see if it'll move enough. Because I've actually come across a few stumps that they're basically rotted out, and I can just take the teeth and just put it against that stump and just kind of push forward. And sometimes it'll just pop right out of the ground because the roots have rotted out so bad from it. But if it doesn't pop right out, then that's when you just start. And I usually go 3 to 4 foot out from where the stump is at, depending on how big the stump is also. You know, if you have a stump that's, you know, 8 to 10 inches, you might only have to go out 3, maybe 4 feet. Now, if you have a good sized stump, you know, then you might have to go out even 6 to 7 feet to find out, you know, where that root, the biggest roots are, because you're gonna have to get rid of those first. You have to break those up, and it wouldn't be bad, have a bad idea just to, once you've found those roots and you're having a hard time separating them, you know, take a Sawzall with you and just cut that root, and that sometimes will help. So, well, I've got this bucket out today because there's a few things that I want to do. There's a few stumps I want to get out, and on top of that, there's a couple of things out front. There's a pipe, and the pipe is probably maybe a 2-inch diameter, but I think it's concreted into the ground. Well, the pipe is all bent over, it's snapped in half, but I can't get that pipe out. So I'm going to use this to pry up underneath there and pop it out. So, but again, this is just a quick video just to kind of go over the stump bucket that I have. It's made by Jobsite, and again, it's just a local company up in Lexington, North Carolina. And so far, I've been very pleased with it. Again, like I said, the welds appear to be very good. And the only thing that I've had an issue with so far is being able to actually see, because this is just a solid back right here. And by this being a solid back, when you're in the, you know, in the seat and you're working, you know, you're having a hard time looking around, seeing exactly where the front of this is, where I think if they had just kind of cut just a small hole, you know, in the back frame of this back plate, just so I could be able to see the tips, you know, from the driver's seat. Other than that, I really don't have any other thing to say that, you know, I would do different about it, or I would get something else. So, but again, this is just a quick overview of the stump bucket that I have. So until next time, I'll see you on Silent Hill Acres. Bye.